Hey everybody, welcome back to the Comic High Ground. Your friendly neighborhood Obi-Wan is here, and I'm gonna talk about Gang War as I promised. Now, Gang War just started. I actually think it started like 2 weeks ago. I'm just now being able to cover like the first two issues, and the numbering is kind of strange because it's like there's Amazing Spider-Man Gang War. It's like initiation or prelude or something, and then there's the actual Amazing Spider-Man book that has, I guess, part one, if you will, of Gang War. Again, this is a pretty informal, non-scripted video. I'm giving a review, telling you what happened in these two issues, and that's that. And because I'm doing a lot of running around, there won't be any panels this time. I'm sorry. I'll try to have panels for the next video. But with that said, there's not a lot that happens in these first two issues either. So let's get right on into it. Now, the first part, which is the Gang War book specifically title for Amazing Spider-Man, because again, it's not the same as his regular book. It starts out basically with all the gang members around New York in this meeting, and apparently Tombstone got shot at Randy Robinson and his daughter. I think Janice is her name. Their wedding. And so he's pretty much off the table. So they're trying to figure out who's going to take over his territory. Well, Janice pops in. She's like, no, I'm taking over his territory because I'm the daughter. And, all the gang leaders are like, look, there's steps to this. You can't just roll up and take his spot. So Janice has to do this task. And Hammerhead basically tells her that in order to be qualified for Tombstone's spot, she has to kill Randy Robinson because Randy Robinson is a big vocal point in the public, because he's not part of any justice system, but he's working with Luke Cage, Mayor Luke Cage to be exact, to get rid of this law that Kingpin put in when he was mayor that keeps superheroes from basically being able to superhero, kind of outlaw superheroes. So he's trying to work to get that law taken away, and the gang members obviously don't want that. So yeah, they're tasking Janice with taking Randy out, which is obviously a big thing because that's her fiance. But she agrees to do it, and then we cut to Peter. And when we see Peter, he's chasing down a villain, like a Z-grade villain named Slide. He slides on stuff. That's basically what he does. And if you remember in my previous video, I mentioned that Peter and Miles they had like this well, I say argument. It wasn't an argument. Miles was mad at Peter, and this is where that comes from, because while he's chasing Slide, Miles pops up, and they basically fight him together. Miles uses his spider saber. I forgot what they call it. A venom saber, yeah. He uses his venom saber and pretty much beats him. And it's funny because Slide is like, you have a sword? And he's like, yeah. And Peter's like, that's a cool sword. I didn't know you could do swords now. And Miles is basically like, yeah, you've been gone, and maybe if you had been around and answered your phone calls and stuff, you would know about this. So Peter's kind of like, look, my bad, stuff is happening. Miles is like, no, I'm not hearing it. You're not the only one who has stuff going on. Everybody has stuff going on, and you can't keep using that excuse. And Miles is basically pissed because in his story, he's dealt with. I mean, we're not even gonna talk about the assessor, which Peter didn't even obviously have anything to do. He didn't have any influence. He didn't appear in that story. But just in Miles's new run, I mean, we talk about what's her name? I can't remember the chick's name who was mad at Miles because he got into the school she wanted to get in, and she was basically taking revenge. It's a very stupid motivation, and she's a cool character, but they should have come up with a better motivation. But I'll give them kudos for at least trying to create Miles' original antagonist. But anyway, he dealt with that. He dealt with Carnage, and then he dealt with some issue with Hobgoblin. So Miles has dealt with a lot of crap, and Peter just wasn't there, especially for the Carnage thing, because again, with the Carnage thing, Tony Stark ended up coming to help him, and that's mainly because Carnage had took over some Stark tech. So again, it's a situation, why is Tony Stark helping with something that Peter Parker should be there for? But that's not the argument we're having right now. The point is, Peter wasn't there. Peter wasn't answering his phone, and Miles is rightfully pissed because it's like, yo, you're supposed to be my mentor, and when I need your help or when I need your advice, you're not there to help. During the Hobgoblin arc that Miles was dealing with, his spider sense was kind of on the fritz. Again, something that Peter Parker could have helped with. But again, that's kind of that would be something that goes along in the rant video about Peter Parker and Miles's dynamic. We're not gonna talk about that right now too much. So anyway, Miles yells at Peter and he takes off. Okay, so now we cut to Hammerhead and he's in the car with this chick who he's been dating. He's claimed that he met her during Randy's wedding, I think it was. But he's kind of there talking to her, and in the midst of that, he's telling her, well, Janice is getting ready to do this hit on Randy. Now, she is not cool with the fact that he's making her do that, because he's like, it's kind of jacked up. You got Janice going after her fiance, and Hammerhead is basically kind of saying, look, I know that it's jacked up. He didn't care, of course, but he's like, but I also know she's not going to do it. So that's why I had a contingency plan. So we cut to Janice confronting Randy, and she's in her, I can't remember her alter ego, Beetle or something, I don't know. She's in her outfit, and she basically pins Randy to a wall. I think she punches him once or twice, and she's like, this got to be done. And Randy's not scared because he knows she's not gonna do it, and she knows she's not gonna do it. But in the midst of all that, a mob of gang members in there or something like bum rushes in there and start firing. So Randy hops in the way so that Janice won't get hit. So after this, we cut back, or actually we cut to Robbie, and he's in the hospital with Tombstone, kind of checking on him, visiting him, and Tombstone's still unconscious. So the nurse bursts in and she's like, Mr. Robinson, oh, I thought this report said that you were shot. And he's like, what? No, I'm here. And she's like, oh wait, no, this is Randy Robinson. And so immediately Robbie goes into frantic mode, parent mode, because his son has been shot. So he rushes over there and he sees Randy on the stretcher, and they're rushing him to the ER. And Janice is there, and he basically tells her to leave because she's wearing the outfit still. And he's like, if you wanted to help, you wouldn't be wearing that damn outfit. So he yells at her and she heads out. Meanwhile, we cut back to Hammerhead, and Hammerhead is kind of not gloating, but gloating because he was able to get that accomplished. Now, one thing I didn't mention also is that in the midst of Tombstone getting taken out, at some point during that time, Madam Mask was taken out too, by Hammerhead, no less. So he's kind of kept her mask as like this trophy, if you will. And the lady who he's with, she's kind of looking at the mask, and I guess she's asking him why he has it, and he's like, that's his trophy for taking Madam Mask down. And then the woman brings up again that she didn't like that he had that hit put on Randy, and that he tried to make Janice do it. And Hammerhead decides to get all big and bad, and he's like, I'm top dog, I'm on top all the time, just mobster talk. And he kind of shoves her down or something. So she picks up this pipe while he goes to sit down, and she just goes to town across his head with it. Come to find out, it's an adamantium pipe, which is the only thing that can get through Hammerhead's skull because it's made out of adamantium. So she beats the living daylights out of Hammerhead, and he's unconscious in a bloody pope. Janice arrives through the window because she's obviously come to take revenge on Hammerhead herself, but she looks and she's like, whoa, what happened? And the woman is like, oh, I just did what you came here to do. I just beat you to it. And we find out that the woman is actually Whitney, aka Madam Mask. So she's telling Janice, like, look, you can go try to get your father's territory or whatever, but a war is starting. Once they find out what happened to Hammerhead and everything, a gang war is about to start. And Janice is kind of like, well, I don't care about that. And she was like, Madam Mask is like, well, you were young when the first gang war happened, so you wouldn't understand how important this is. And she goes on this monologue, and it shows like different panels of gang bosses getting ready to basically battle. And after her monologue, we cut to Mayor Luke Cage's office, and Peter arrives, and basically he tells him that Robbie had. I'm sorry, not Robbie. I do that a lot. He tells him that Randy got shot. So Peter immediately rushes to the hospital. He goes and he speaks to Robbie, and Robbie's like, look, what are you doing here? There's stuff going on out there. You need to be out there helping people. And then all of a sudden, Peter's spider sense goes off, and they see a big explosion in the background in the city. So Peter heads out. He calls Luke. No, he heads out. I'm sorry. He heads out and he goes back to Luke's office, and he's like, "Look, I need you to keep the police out of the way because I'm gonna handle this." And Luke is like, "Okay, well, I'll keep the police out of your way." And Peter's like, "No, not out of my way, out of our way. I'm building a team." So that's where that prelude issue kind of closes out. The next issue that I'm aware of, because when I read it, I was kind of confused because I was like, wait, when did he form the team? But he has a team formed already, and I don't know if there's a middle issue that I'm missing or what. I tried to look, but I couldn't find one. But all I know is in the very next issue, chronologically anyway, that I know of, he has a team built. It's him, it's Miles, it's Jessica Drew, Spider-Woman, it's She-Hulk, and it's Elektra Daredevil. That's the team as of right now. Now, if he's going to add more people, I don't know yet. I think he will, but I don't know of any other ones right now. This second issue didn't serve as too big in terms of, like, I guess, new things coming up, because all that really happened was the group stopped the two gangs from warring in the streets. And then after they do that, they kind of disperse because there's different threats going on in different parts of the city. So Jessica Drew goes to one part of the city because she's after that particular gang boss. Miles goes to Brooklyn because there's some particular gang thing going on there. Actually, Hobgoblin's doing something there. And Peter tells Miles before he leaves, like, be careful. Hobgoblin's a tricky one. And Miles is like, I'm fine. I don't need your help. I need your help anyway. Some kind of sly remark, basically taking a shot at Peter, which, again, I understand he's upset at Peter, but they kind of need to cut that out because this, resentment towards Peter that's not cool. And I think it hurts both Peter and Miles' character. So they gotta find a way to get that together because that's not gonna fly. they gotta fix that. But the important things that really happened in this particular book was Tombstone woke up. He saw that Randy had been shot, and he's like, all right, oh cool. He's like, okay, cool. Well, not cool, but he's like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and take over my territory again and try to get a handle of things. He walks in when he gets back on Janice basically running things, and she's kind of making moves and deciding what moves to make on people. And Tombstone basically walks in like, well, I'm in charge. I'm back. I'm in charge. And she's like, look, no offense. You just got the hospital, and I've been handling things so far, so I'm going to handle this. And he kind of, mainly because it's his daughter, he kind of backs off and is like, all right, well, fine. And the next time we see him is when Peter and She-Hulk are fighting a lot of some type of creatures or something. And they end up beating them, and Tombstone kind of rolls up and is like, look, I'm here to help. And that's pretty much where that issue closes out. Again, I went through that one really fast because there wasn't a lot to that one. I mean, Tombstone woke up, the team beat two gangs, and then dispersed, which is obviously because they're each going to have gang war stuff going on in their solo books, and they don't want them to be in a team, I guess, for whatever reason. And that's that. Like, nothing of major importance aside from that really happened. Janice took out Mariah. I'll say that. I can't remember her villain name, but I know her name is Mariah. She was in the Luke Cage show. But again, nothing of major note happened in that book. I'm thinking like stuff will pick up in the next one. But as of right now, like there's been no real big news, nothing with the other gang leaders. We know that Madame Mass took I always get Tombstone and Hammerhead's names mixed up. I don't know why. I guess because they're both hard to hit. I don't know. Or maybe because when you hit them, it hurts your hand. I don't know. And this goes back to like the 90s series when Peter was struggling with both of them. But yeah, again, Madame Mass took Hammerhead somewhere, and that's basically the gist of the issue. There's no major implications yet. No major moves have been made. It's just fighting, basically. That's literally all it is, just fighting. So I'll cover the next issue when it comes out. I'm trying to keep up with it. It's kind of tough because Marvel has this thing nowadays that they have these events going on, and it'll be like number 1 is in Spider-Man, number 2 is in Miles Spider-Man, number 3 is in Jessica Drew, number 4 is in She-Hulk, and then number 5 would be in Miles again, and then number 6 would be in Peters. It's like it's hard to keep up with it, so I'll do my best. I'm gonna see if I can find a list and just read those books and give you a regular video on it or update as it goes on. Like I said, the premise of Gang War is interesting. That's why I'm covering it. Hopefully they keep it interesting, and hopefully they kind of calm down with this Miles and Peter beef right now. But other than that, yeah, I hope you liked the video. Hit the like button if you did. Drop a comment to let me know what you thought of the beginning of Gang War. Do you like where it's going? Hit that subscribe button for more, and remember, we have the high ground. Catch you later.